Greetings, Green Warrior, and welcome, Jess.
Yay! Thank you. Wow,
Yay.
it's so crazy being on this side of the broadcast. I'm so happy.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so excited that I'm having you on this. Green Warriors, we have been trying to get Jess on the show for a while, but she is a busy woman. She travels a lot and she works, and she is really the driving force behind this broadcast. And I hope you're going to click like and welcome her because she she's going to bring a lot of fun today. So we talk a lot, right, Jess? We talk a lot about how when we first adopted this lifestyle, and we one of the things that I think that we say a lot is, gee, we should have kept a journal because it's been such a long time since 2012, because that's my story and your father's story, and it's also your story that
Yeah.
we've been doing this since 2012. And there's so many things that we might forget, that the struggles that we might have had, but I think some of the struggles were because there wasn't as much information as there is now. So if we had access to the things that people have now on social media, I think it would have been a lot more easier. So
So
what do you remember about when this first happened?
wow. I mean, your story is beautiful. You found it on PBS in
Hmm.
2012, and it's kind of like it's kind of like finding God in a way. It's just like why didn't anybody tell me this?
Right.
Um, it just kind of blows your mind. Um, but starting it's really good to have a community. It was really good to have you with the knowledge that you had to begin with. What do
Yeah.
you remember?
Well, I remember finding out about it, and when you find out about something that you learn and say, "Oh my goodness, this just turns everything that I've learned upside down, and I need to tell every single person that I care about. Everybody needs to know this." It's And so I told you and I told your siblings about it, and I just couldn't stop talking about it, and I kept talking about it quite a bit, and I kept trying to read books and find more information. Again, this was over a decade ago, so it wasn't as readily available to learn about this. And you were right, able to say, "Hey, I think I want to try this," which surprised me, because
Yeah,
you were younger then, and maybe, when you're young, I think, at least for me, I remember when I was younger, you think you're just going to live forever, and
you're invincible.
yeah, and you don't need to worry about these things because that's like decades and decades away. Let's just have fun.
Yeah, I mean, um, it's the lifestyle. You lose weight, you can reverse disease, you can prevent disease. I mean, and then when you go further into it, you learn about animal treatment and things like that. So I feel overall just healthier. I feel more energetic. I want to tell everybody about it because I see people just like suffering, and they don't need to, but what you don't know, you don't know.
Mm.
So I'm excited to share more.
Yes, absolutely. And we had some things that, I mean, I think a lot of this lifestyle, adopting a lifestyle, is you're gaining things as far as your health and your energy levels and things. But in the beginning, I think you feel that you have to give things up.
Right.
And there were some things that we kind of didn't want to give up in
No,
the
you don't. Well,
beginning.
because it's a literal addiction, and it's a whole culture. You're raised with these recipes. Like we had, like dad is like really Italian, like making like and really good at making steaks and shrimps. And you think vegan, you're like, am I just gonna eat salad like for the rest of my life? Like that's disgusting. And then especially if you go into the SOS free part, the sugar, oil, salt free part of it all, and it just tastes gross for a little bit. But I remember I saw Dr. Greger on a video a little bit ago, and he said it takes 3 weeks for your taste buds to neuroadapt, or just like your taste buds change out every 3 weeks. So if you can just hold on for 3 weeks, and
Yeah.
And the another big thing that I remember made a big impact, but it was the most difficult, was giving up dairy. Was giving up
Mm.
cheese and just, ice cream, and that was really difficult. We had an agreement, or like a challenge, right?
Yeah. Because, well, there were a couple of one of the things that I used to do a lot was I chewed gum all the
Oh, me too, all the time, all the time.
and that was because I would get hungry in between meals and I didn't want to keep eating all the time. So I tried to chew gum to kind of get me through to the next meal, which doesn't
Mm.
always work.
And I did it so that I didn't have to eat, because I just love food all the time.
Yeah, exactly. So that was something that was hard to give up. But yeah, the dairy, especially the cheese. Oh
Yeah,
my goodness.
that's the addicting part. That's like, don't let me give that up.
Yeah. So so did you want to talk about that? About what it was like for you, or maybe you wanted to just talk. Oh, Ron is on
Hi,
Greenings.
Ron.
He's saying hi. Um, so did you want to talk about, because you said that we had an agreement?
Yeah. Do you
Yeah,
remember the agreement?
you tell it. You
Oh, you
tell.
can tell it. Was it something like, if you could cross your feet and get? Oh, no, no, come back, come back. Cross your feet and get up on the floor, get up off of the
Oh
floor,
yeah, I
and
think.
then if you would work on that, and I would work on not eating dairy, right?
Yeah, because back then one of the things that I tried to exercise a lot. It didn't keep me from being 40 pounds overweight, but in spite of all that exercising, because I later learned you can't outrun a bad diet.
Right,
And
you think that you're eating healthy, like, you really cared about us when you were bringing us when you were raising us. You take
yes,
the chicken skin off of the chicken, like, you eat salmon, like, what else did you think was healthy?
well, I definitely wanted you to eat your vegetables, but I usually would put them in some kind of a teriyaki sauce or
Oh,
something like
yes.
that. So that kind of defeated the purpose.
Yeah,
But
and
one of
you would work
yeah.
out every morning, and,
Mhm.
like, you still sometimes don't see results, and you're like, "I'm doing the healthy what is supposed to be healthy, until you found this."
Yeah. So when I found this lifestyle, I continued exercising and I thought, wouldn't it be cool if I could do, because I saw somewhere on, I don't know where I saw it, where somebody they crossed their legs while they were in a sitting position. They crossed their legs in front of them and then they were able to stand up without using their hands.
Right.
And I could not do that, but I
Right.
really wanted to. And this was over a decade ago. I couldn't do it, and I was just working on it, and being 40 pounds overweight probably wasn't the smartest thing to do because I was probably hurting my knees, and luckily,
Mm.
I didn't do any damage, but I was probably hurting my knees. So that was the thing that I wanted to do, but I really wanted you to give up the dairy because I knew that if if you're first adopting this lifestyle, if anything, if you could just give up the dairy and do nothing else, you probably would see really great results and it would probably benefit you so much. So that's the deal that we had, right?
Yeah. I mean, you didn't force it on me, but
No,
you
you
just
agreed to it. You
right,
agreed
you
to
just
it.
kept learning, like, all of these things, especially about dairy. If you can just give up dairy, that's huge.
Yeah, so what was it like? What was the thing about dairy that you was all dairy? We should say in case anybody's new to this lifestyle. So dairy would be milk or creamer or ice cream or yogurt or cheese. So those all anything that needed cow's milk and of course milk, anything that needed cow's milk to be made, then that would be
Right.
considered dairy. So was any of those things more difficult for you to give up?
Oh, yeah. Just really everything. And then I remember being told that yogurt was healthy too. My
Yeah.
gosh, my gosh. Dairy, yeah, cheese, cheese. Like, how do you find a substitute for that? But we started with the plant-based cheeses, kind of like that, and then we learned about nutritional yeast. We learned about other different seasonings, and eventually your taste buds start to change. And we make nice cream now out of bananas and cacao powder. You can add dates. You can even make frozen cherry ice cream, so that made it a lot easier. It's You think that you're giving things up, but it's really opening up a whole other world of amazingness, of deliciousness, and you can eat as much as you want until you're comfortably full, and
Was that like that was it. That was what sold
like
me.
you need a lot. You need as much as I want. That's a big
Okay,
thing.
I'm in.
But really, yeah, I'm a foodie. I love to eat food, and that's a perk. That's a big perk.
Mm. Giving a shout out to Roxy Ford.
Hello,
Greetings, Roxy.
Roxy.
Thanks for joining us. Yeah. So that was a big deal for me. And then I think the cheese was kind of hard for me, and the gum was hard for
The
me to
gum.
give up too, because I
Yeah.
I had gum in my purse. It was like people if they wouldn't go without cigarettes, that would be me with
Mhm.
gum. Can't
Mm. Oh, I remember when we were trying to do SOS free with beans as well, because there's so many benefits of beans in your diet. Just even
yeah.
like the filling part of it all. Like I remember you would have like kind of not withdrawal feelings, but just like you would get hungry and you'd be like, I'm not crashing. What did you say?
Yeah, it was for
Like kind of
me.
shaking.
I didn't have diabetes, but I think I was getting on the verge of a pre-diabetes. So that in between every 2 or 3 hours, if I didn't have some kind of food or the gum, which had the sugar, if I didn't have something in my bloodstream, then I would really feel shaky. I would get irritable. I'd get
Yeah,
headaches. I'd
yeah.
feel weak, not able to concentrate. It really was a big thing for me. Oh, Gina said just joined. Hello, everyone. Cherry ice cream. Oh, yeah, that's. But now we can make cherry nice cream.
Cherry
So
ice cream,
yeah,
yeah. And
yeah.
even just eating frozen cherries in general is just like a really delicious treat for me. Just slightly thawed,
Uh huh. Yes,
tasty.
isn't and I think that that's what happens when you adopt this lifestyle. That in the beginning you're like, oh, I think we were just talking about, we didn't finish, but about the beans, right? So we were SOS
Yeah.
free. We still are, which means no added sugar, oil, or salt.
Sugar,
And
oil, salt free.
yeah, right.
SOS.
Yeah, and so we tried to eat beans that had nothing on them, and I thought it felt like a kind of a gag reflex actually when I had them. I was like, okay, I can't do this.
No salt, just beans from a can.
Mhm. Mhm.
And
Yeah,
now it's the
absolutely.
opposite for me. Like if I have beans that have like a little bit of salt in it, that's when I get that reflex now. It's just
Isn't
like,
that something?
this is
Yeah.
so salty.
Yeah, so you really get used to your as you said with Dr. Greger, because you have a broadcast, but it's a corporate broadcast, so we can't watch it. But anyway, you had Dr. Greger as a guest on your broadcast, and that's how you learned about this taste buds. We want to say that again?
Yeah, your taste buds regenerate every 3 weeks. So if you can just kind of hold on to that change for 3 weeks, that's that they neuroadapt is a term that I've learned.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and we have, let's see, Felicia McDonald. Hello, everyone watching from Raleigh.
Felicia,
Ooh,
Raleigh
Durham.
Terrace.
Okay, well, greetings. Thank you for joining us. I love seeing all these new faces because I have some people may have been watching in the past but didn't comment. But at least that I'm seeing, I only know you're there if you comment. So
Yeah, comment, say hi.
yeah,
Hi,
even just say hi
everybody.
and tell us where you're watching from if you want to. That's fine. Yeah. So, and that's the thing that we were thinking that if people could just get past those first few weeks
Yeah,
where they get new taste buds and neuroadapt, then this could be doable for people. But it and any kind of habit, it's hard to break, and food is very seductive.
you need that why, right?
Yes, and that's what I tell my clients. Really, I would like them to have a why that makes them cry,
Mm.
because sometimes I'll ask them why, and they say, "Because of this," and I say, "Yeah, but why? Why that?" And then I keep going deeper and deeper, and then finally, they come up with that why that makes them cry, and that's what's really helpful.
Why
So
for my children or for my grandchildren,
yes,
or sometimes the why is I just had a heart attack and now I know I don't want to do that, but we should try and be healthy before we have those big wake up calls. That's
yeah,
difficult. Life is lifing, they say. Like
hmm,
keep going.
yeah, absolutely. Well, for those of you that are joining, this is my daughter Jess, and we've been plant based since 2012, and we're talking about that. And Jess is the driving force behind my broadcasts, and she does a lot of voiceovers and graphics, and she's just so wonderful in helping to help me get this information out to people. And so one of the things that she designed was this uh, true or false things. I'm going to put that up.
It's time for True or False on Be Green with Amy Live. Answer true or false to Amy's questions in the comments below, and Amy will ask our guest for the expert answer.
I love that music that you picked. Every time I play it, I'm rocking out behind the scenes. And before I put up the first question, I just want to let Sharon Stickney is saying hi from DFW. So that's very nice. Greetings to you. And and for those of you, if you've never adopted this lifestyle or if you're new, just go ahead and tell us in the chat and ask questions, because we really want to make this interactive for all of you.
Yeah,
Gina loves that.
I love it. I love it. Well, what? Oh yeah, we're playing. Let's play the game.
Is
Let's
that
play.
okay? All right.
Yes.
So we're going to go with our first question, and that's going to be, let me just get down to, there we go. Okay. So I want to make sure. So, true or false, Green Warrior, tell me what you think. All plant based foods are automatically healthy. So, that's
Mm.
like if you go in the store and you see something that says vegan on it,
Uh,
then it's good and it's okay to eat and it's automatically healthy. So,
I
what do
would
you
have
think, Green
to
Warrior?
say,
And
uh-huh.
they're going to
I'd
type in
have to
their
say
answer.
false.
Go ahead.
I'd have to agree with everyone. False. Yep. Yep.
We got some smart people out there. Yeah.
They try and get you plant-based. Well, okay, so maybe it is slightly healthier than some of the other options that aren't plant-based, but maybe it's not because it's still
No.
kind of processed. And I think with the whole food plant-based diet, whole food is you try and you stay away from processed
Yeah.
foods.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And
Oh, it's so tempting though. You're like, "Ooh, plant-based cookies. That's
yeah.
fun." Or like one of the things that I see sometimes are they're like chips that are made from vegetables,
Oh,
but they
yeah.
have
I
oil
think
and
they
salt.
have, like, veggie straws or
Yeah,
something
veggie
like that.
straws.
Yeah,
It's like, "No,
yeah.
no, no, no,
Ah.
maybe not." They say shop the
So,
perimeter.
Ron
Oh,
Miller said
I
Oreos.
mean, they're vegan.
Yeah, they're plant-based. I
There
mean,
is a recipe for, like, Snickers that you can make it from dates, and then if you eat peanut butter, you can put peanut butter in it and cacao and just, like, stuff a little date, and it tastes kinda like a Snickers bar. So there's little workarounds that you can create for those
yeah,
treats.
there are, and because your taste buds neuroadapt, these things, they taste good. Okay, you wanna go for another one?
Number 2,
Okay.
they were great.
So I talked about in the beginning that you do some traveling and you're a busy woman. And so, true or false, Green Warriors just finds it challenging to stay plant based when traveling. And I must say that if you can see the clouds on her shirt and the clouds in her background, she travels. She loves being up in the air in an airplane, and she loves exploring the world.
That's
So,
skimming it's exploring
yeah,
the world, yeah.
yeah. So, what do
Mm.
you think? Do you think that she finds it challenging? And why don't you tell us, Jess? Tell us about that.
That's a tough one. I think now I don't find it challenging. Sometimes I might find it tempting, but I find it so I a few days before I travel, I like to batch cook and I like to freeze. Um, and that really helps me throughout my trips. So I'll just say what I eat in a day, I guess, what I
Yeah,
bring.
you can tell us how do you prepare? If it, it's maybe you don't find it challenging, but only because you prepare, right?
Right. I think in the
So,
beginning it was really difficult to figure it out. Although if you're just getting started, there is this app. It's called Happy Cow, and you can select if you're a vegan or vegetarian, or if you eat meat, or if you want to. It's just a restaurant finder, but it's a global restaurant finder, and that's been really really helpful for me. I was in Prague and I found a good restaurant that way. But for me, I I try to stay away from sugar, oil, and salt. So sometimes that can be a little bit tricky if I'm ordering out. So I just like to pack food with me and then explore the culture in a different way than food.
yes, because that's what traveling is about. It's not just about eating food, it's about having the experiences. And you fly on airplanes quite often, so you've really had to navigate this because you've had to figure out because getting liquids on and going through customs when you're doing international travel. So you've
Yeah.
picked up quite a bit of knowledge as far as that goes and how to overcome that. So you make your food ahead of time, and then you say you freeze it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah, I freeze smoothies and I put them in bags and I have them that way. I One of my favorite snacky foods are sweet potatoes, but I chop them up into little cubes and I microwave them. So I have like a bag of sweet potato fries or so.
mhm.
Whenever I go, I love lentils and beans and vegetables. Sometimes little frozen soups, I bring that along with me. Apples are really good to travel with for little crunchy snacks. Yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah, and when you say sweet potato fries, all these foods that you're talking about, you make them yourself.
Yeah,
You don't buy them pre-made or whatever, and
yeah,
so
yeah.
so you have the
Potato,
control
chop
of.
it up.
Go
Sorry.
ahead. Yeah, talk
No,
about
yeah, get a
potato.
potato, you chop it up into little dices, and then I put it on a plate and I microwave it for, I don't know, 10 minutes or so, depending.
Yeah, you would have to if you're doing it if you don't try this at home without doing it for less time
Yeah.
and because everybody's microwave is gonna be a different voltage and wattage and whatever. So, I had a question that I was saving for a little bit later because we were talking, but then first I'm gonna read the question that the thing that came after the question, and it was from Gina, and Gina said, "Amy, please answer Ron's question. I would be interested in your 2 cents." Okay, so so now the mystery builds, and now we'll read Ron's question. I make everybody wait. So Ron said, I was just listening to a panel discussion from 2012, and Jeff Nelson, he's a registered dietitian. He's a lot of fun to listen to. He posted it, and one of the questions had to do with how to convince others. What say you to? Ooh, well, yeah, that's a difficult thing for anybody, isn't it?
Yeah, because you see people suffering, you see people that have disease or extra weight that they don't want, or tired going up the stairs or something like that. And you're like, I know that if you ate this way, that you would feel a lot better on so many levels. And I think what I found is just, I guess with anything is to make myself the best that I can be and kind of lead by example in a way. And maybe they'll be like, oh, what are you eating over there? Or, something like that. Because you just want to be like, here, take this food and eat it all. Let me teach you everything. What do you think?
I agree. Food is a really it's kind of like a religion,
Yeah.
and I try to when I began the broadcast, I was so excited about it and telling everybody about it, and you and your sister said to me, "You need to just make your own broadcast because we've already heard this, and you don't need to tell us more, so just tell the world."
Yeah.
And I think that was a good way because this way anybody that was watching actually wanted to listen. But I've had loved ones, family members, close friends that I wanted to tell all about this, and I really learned that people don't wanna be told to change what they eat. And and then I turned it around on myself and I said, "Well, do I wanna be told to change what I eat? I like what I'm doing, and how would I feel if this friend, loved one, or whoever that I meet would try to convince me otherwise, which does happen. You know, and so I think what you said, I think it's spot on, where when somebody can, they have this saying, living their best life. If somebody can see you living your best life, and that you can stick with this, and that no matter what the situation, it's not a big deal. You either come prepared with food, or maybe you just don't eat anything, and you're okay because you're just enjoying other people's companies and the experience that you're having. And if they can see that it's not a big deal to live this way, and I think, especially if it's somebody that you know over a period of time, now you're both aging together. You may not be the same age, but you're both experiencing aging together, and you're not really declining. And now they were declining and they're declining more, or they didn't decline because they were younger and now they're starting to feel that. And for you, I think that even people that are in your age group, that, I mean, you're my daughter, so you see people in your age group that their health is not, they're starting to find out what's going on for digestive issues, or just their physical fitness levels, and right, what do you think?
What do you guys think? I'm curious if you
Yeah.
want to comment. What do you think about Ron's question?
Yeah,
Because
yeah. But I,
I,
I, I think leading by example, that's what I stand with. Just and have them come to you and ask you, what are you doing? Because eventually it does happen. If you know the person long enough and you still go strong with it, and you don't you're not in it for like 50%, you're doing it as a lifestyle, and they see you thriving, that eventually, because that has been my experience with people that I know, people that I love, eventually, when you think that there's no way that they ever, and all of a sudden they're doing it. So,
mm-hmm.
and then you're there, and even at that time, you say, "Hey, I'm here. If you have any questions, let me know. Go for it." But
Yeah,
you still don't tell them, and even though they're doing it, you still don't push it on them.
yeah,
You
yeah.
let them kind of feel their way through it.
So for people who are new to this, what is whole food, plant-based, SOS free?
Yeah, I guess, well, we should say that because not everybody knows. It's got all these acronyms and everything.
Yeah.
So actually, what I like to do is and I don't know who. Oh, okay. Well, Sharon said, agree with you guys. It's hard to talk to someone into changing. It's better to lead by example. Yeah, yeah. So whole food plant based, and I've heard it called whole food plant exclusive, and I really like that better, because you can be based on something, but that doesn't mean you're entirely eating that way for your whole lifestyle. So it means that anything that grows from the ground, or anything that you can pick off of a tree, or a plant, and anything that doesn't have a mother or a face, or can move independently, those things are all plants. And those and then SOS free, sugar, oil, and salt. So we try to really avoid those things. So if I'm buying anything, sometimes I like to buy salsa, and the salsa that I buy, it has a little added sodium in it, but it's lower in sodium than the other ones that I found. And I haven't been able to find one that has no sodium. I
Mm-hmm.
could make my own,
Mm-hmm.
but sometimes for convenience, it's nice to have that jar of salsa. But the amount of sodium in it is so low that it wouldn't affect me. So because I like to follow Dr. Joel Furman. Other people follow other doctors, and I do enjoy watching the other doctors, and I learn from them as well. But Dr. Joel Furman said, try to keep your added sodium no more than 400 milligrams a day. So when I look at these things that I might buy, perhaps this salsa, if I eat some of that salsa and put it on my bean burger, or my lentil burger, or with my air fried French fries, the amount of sodium that I'm getting is nowhere near that
Right.
extra allowable salt, because most of the whole foods, they all have some amount of sodium in them anyway.
What's wrong with sodium? What's wrong with salt?
Right. Well, I mean, there's a lot of things that it can do. It has been shown to cause cancer, and it's
Mm.
also, but for me and for your dad was on hypertension medication, and even while on that medication, his blood pressure was not that great. And once we adopted this lifestyle, under with the doctor's guidance, because he had a blood pressure monitor, and he monitored it several times a day, and he made a chart, and then he showed it to his physician, and the physician said, okay, you can come off, and he helped him titrate down off the medication, and now his blood pressure is better than it ever was on medication. So we know that this added sodium had a lot to do with it. Yeah. So
Wow.
Ron said there's a lot of guys at work that don't want to give up their man card by giving up meal, etc. They may change their minds the older they get. Yeah. Well, there's a man card that they're going to give up.
Yeah.
Hey, I interview a lot of people, and 30% of males that are 30 years old have erectile dysfunction. 40% of males 40 have it. 50% of males 50, 60% of males 60%. So age 60. So it's going to happen, and that's something that a lot of that if you can, because the blood vessels that lead to that organ that is responsible for, as Dr. Esselstyn has said, raise the flag, they are very, very tiny. So think of like a smoothie straw compared to a coffee stirrer kind of straw, right? And so they're the ones that get clogged up before the other ones do. And
Mm.
if you were, I tell my clients, imagine if anybody's ever had orange juice, fresh squeezed orange juice, and it has pulp inside of it. And if
Yeah.
you took a smoothie straw, you could drink it very well for until you got to the bottom, and then maybe it would start clogging up your straw. But if you use one of those coffee stirrer straws, it wouldn't take long, and it'd be all clogged up.
Mm.
So
Mm.
so that's what I say about the older guys.
Yeah, and a good is it documentary? Something good to watch on Netflix. It's called Game Changers, and it's got a lot of football and like wrestling and stuff like that. And they do like they have little not experiment. They do studies on
Yeah,
famous football players. Like one half of them go plant-based, and the other half go just eat the normal sad
standard American.
way,
Yeah,
standard American diet way. And yeah, they just look at their performance, and they look at that like that kind of performance that we were just talking about
yeah,
too, and it just kind of blows your mind. Blows your
exactly.
mind. I think there's a football team that's all plant-based, right?
Yeah,
Anyway, check
yeah,
out Game Changers.
yeah.
And
Ron said
that's a
he
good
had
one.
seen
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah,
So you know.
yeah. So Felicia said, I recently lost 45 pounds with medical assistance, and I'm embracing the vegan lifestyle
Mm,
as maintenance.
mm,
I'm seeing the results since May. Oh, that is just so wonderful.
yeah.
Oh, I'm so glad. Good for you. You know, that's a lot to go through, having the medical assistance. But now that you're going with this lifestyle, I think that's going to be very helpful to you. Good for you. Thank you for sharing that.
What
And
are
I
some
have,
of your snacks and food that you like to eat? I'm so curious to hear.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I just want to give a shout out because Angela Fischetti from Boomer Beyond Wellness. She's tuning in from Lauderdale Lakes, Florida. So she's thrilled to see the beautiful and talented Jess Tass voice in the flesh. Thank you for your amazing efforts. You are an enormous help. Oh,
Thank you, Angela. She has
like,
so many great workouts. There's a whole
yeah.
playlist of Angela.
I
Oh,
made a playlist
positive
just of
ripples.
her.
Positive ripples. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's sweet.
absolutely. Yeah. So you were we talking about like snacks and things? Is that it?
Oh, we just keep going everywhere,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
is
yeah,
it's just
yeah.
so fun. I think
I,
we were
I,
talking.
go ahead.
No, you.
We just talk like this all the time.
Yeah,
So it's
that's
just
what
like
it was.
Yeah, it's just, and every time that we have conversations, whether they're in person or on the phone, we always say, we should just put this on the broadcast because this would be fun to share with
Do a
everyone.
podcast about it. Yeah,
Yeah,
because you're
yeah,
so knowledgeable. Like in the morning, like sometimes you do salad batch prep, batch, batch.
yeah.
What am I trying to
That's
say? Yeah, and you always listen to podcasts. You're always listening to something educational to learn about, and yeah, you just got all the knowledge.
yeah. Well, you were talking about game changers, and I
Mhm.
had asked you because you have so many adventures, you travel all around the world, and you're all about having fun, and you're fueled by plants. And this game changer thing talks about people. One of the things that people worry about is like, where do you get your protein, and how can you be physically active? So I thought it would be fun if maybe if you wanted to share maybe some pictures of what you do and it's
Yeah, I feel so healthy and so energetic. And here, well, I'll show you this one. This is a fun one. That's me trapezing.
okay. Let's see if we can.
Can you,
Yeah, I don't know if
can
can
you
you guys see that.
can you see it? I think you can.
Yeah.
Can
So
you see
this is Jessica on the bottom with she's wearing the black, and then there's a catcher on the
it?
trapeze, and he's going to catch her. Yeah.
Yeah, I did that
And
the
then
other
she
day.
just does that for fun.
Yeah. Oh, all the activity. It's really cool.
Yeah, and that's and so obviously she's got plenty of protein and plenty of nutrients to keep her strong because that's a lot. That's a lot to do. And
Yeah,
yeah,
and the thing, I think we're told that we're supposed to get a lot of protein, but who knows actually like how much protein you're actually supposed to have. What I've heard, what I've learned is that fiber is more important.
yeah.
Like to focus on fiber. So
Hmm.
can you tell us why fiber is important and where you can find fiber?
Yeah. Well, first of all, protein. So what they did was they said, okay, when is it that a human would probably need the most protein? And they said, okay, well, it's when they're babies because they're going through a rapid growth spurt,
Mm.
more rapid than any other time in their lives. So they tested human breast milk and they found that it had like, I think, well, different studies found different things, but it was around 8% protein. 8%. Yeah. So and so if a rapidly growing baby only needs 8% of protein, then I think that a lot of Americans are really overdoing it on the protein. And we
Mm.
have to really be worrying about protein, especially the kind of protein that is animal based, because that will raise something called IGF-1, and that can lead to, because you're growing stuff, right? So do you want to grow cancer? And that could be one of the things that's going on. So that's the thing that we want to do. And then the fiber, I had a relative, and I don't think that she's watching because I don't even think she knows I do this broadcast. But when I first adopted the lifestyle, she said, where do you get your protein? And I shouldn't have said this, but I was still new. It was before I did the broadcast and learned things. And I said, well, where do you get your fiber? And
Yeah.
then she said, Metamucil. And Metamucil is this orange powder that's supposed to be like, if you have trouble eliminating, that you can put this and drink it and put in water and drink it, and it can help you. And then she said, oh, I'm just joking. So fiber is important, and if you are having trouble going, then
Um,
that could be a reason. I'm not a gastroenterologist, so there could be other things medically going on, but for the most part, we just don't get enough fiber in our lives. And if you're not going at least once or twice a day, and you don't have any other outlying medical conditions, that can probably be the reason. So
mm.
it's really, really important to.
So
Oh,
where do you find fiber?
right. So fiber, there's, if you look in the microscope, you look at an animal cell, because we're all made out of cells, or if you look at a plant cell, and I don't know if anybody remembers biology when they were in school, but they're different. They're different cells, right?
Mhm.
So the plants, that's where the fiber is. It's not inside of the animal at all. And plus there's lots of nutrients and things too. So you'll get lots of fiber in every plant food has fiber, and you don't have, that's what we were talking about. We could eat all we want till we're comfortably full. We don't have to weigh or measure, and we don't have to worry about, oh, am I getting enough fiber? If you're eating exclusively plant foods, you're going to get enough fiber. Oh, I
Mhm.
wanted to let Felicia shout out that she said, I've been meal prepping and bringing fruits and veggies to snack on while at work. Very good. Eating small meals and not allowing myself to experience hunger.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's, everybody kind of works differently. For some people, they don't have to eat frequently throughout the day. They can just eat and then go for a while and then eat again. But for other people, they still need to have those small meals until they maybe experience a shift or something. But here you are, you're bringing, and that's the thing, just like we were talking before, right, Jesse, that if you are prepared, then you're always going to be successful. It's when you
Yes.
don't, yeah, if you didn't bring, and I talk about with my clients, for those of them that have ever had children, I say, whenever I would leave the house with my young children, I never would leave without the diaper bag, because you don't want to be caught without that diaper bag. And that was, and so you don't want to, and then of course I would always bring some little snacks for them too. And you don't want
Mhm.
to be caught without that. And so
Mhm.
you and Dr. Neil Barnard, who I've had on my show, you've had him as a guest, he calls it the feed bag.
Does he? Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
find that too. I just love eating too. And with this
Mm,
lifestyle, you can eat as much as you want until you're comfortably full. And
yeah.
it's just fun to snack on tasty, healthy food.
Yeah,
I'm so
absolutely.
happy for you, Felicia. Awesome.
And I just wanted to ring the bell because
Oh,
Boomer Band Wellness gave me a super chat, super sticker. Thank you so much for that. That's so appreciated,
fun.
because we're running on volunteer help here. And it takes a lot to put on this broadcast, and that
'Cause
every little,
you deserve to know. You
yeah.
deserve to be healthy.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I just want to make sure I'm keeping up with all
With all
the
the
comments
comments.
and all the questions. If you have, again, this is my daughter Jess, and she's the driving force behind my broadcast. If
Okay.
you've ever tuned in, you've heard her voice every time introducing people, and she does all of my social media things and all kinds of things like that. So it's been really, really very nice to have her help me, and now I wanted to share her energy and her knowledge with you so that you could get an experience what it's like for somebody younger younger to be on this plant-based lifestyle, or plant exclusive, is like,
Mhm.
I would
I'm
think I'd
so
rather,
energized. And the
yes,
people we meet through this lifestyle, just good hearts, people who really care. I think it's so important to have a community to help
yeah.
you along this.
Yeah, you're right, and that's why I love my green warriors that come here, because
Mhm.
they also not just asking questions, but they always are talking amongst themselves and trying. And if somebody has some kind of a question, other people might boost them up and answer, what they do. Oh, look at that! Mom caregiver said your daughter is a beautiful
Mm,
soul, isn't? I
that's
agree. She's beautiful inside and out, and I'm so lucky to have her. Thank you for that.
kind.
Yeah. So, did you want to do another true
Oh
or
yeah,
false question?
more true or false? What do we got?
Okay. So let's see where I have to remember where we at. So, okay, let's try. Oh, we already kind of answered that one. All right, so we'll do this one. True or false, Green Warrior? Jess has never struggled with plant-based compliance. So, what do you think? Okay. Tell me what you
Oh,
guess. And Jess, what's the answer?
false. I think it's just a daily thing that you have to commit to. And if you have that foundation, if you're always caring for your inner child and giving yourself little good treats, like I have to keep it out of my house and I have to bring it with me. Otherwise, I'll be like, well, I have nothing to eat, so maybe I'll buy this. And the thing is like it's tempting to cheat in quotes. It's tempting to go off my lifestyle, but I find that because I'm SOS free, sugar, oil, or salt free, like if I eat something with a lot of oil in it, I just don't feel good. I like I don't feel good at all. And then later on, like my body will change in ways that like I'm not used to and I don't really like, and it's just not worth it to go off the lifestyle. But it's so important to be prepared, have my sweet potatoes with me, like have my snacks with me, so I'm satiated, and I don't have to think about having something else. But another thing, like going out to eat with people, or going over to somebody's house, you don't want to offend people, like if they offer you food that they made, or stuff like that. So it's a fine balance, but I found now I have that foundation and that self-care, that I don't struggle as much or really too much at all. But in the beginning it's difficult because it's a literal addiction.
Yeah, it is. And then there's the social aspect, like you said. I mean,
Yeah.
here you are, you're a single woman, over the years since you've been plant-based, you've dated different people, you've made friends with different people along the ways. And, whenever you meet somebody new, they eventually are going to find out that this is how you eat, and you need to let them know, so this way you can navigate any kind of social interactions that you have with them.
Yeah.
And it seems like younger people are more accepting of people's differences, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Although people, it's a whole culture, the food.
Hmm.
You grow up making all these different recipes, and it's your heart is attached to it, and if you offer something to somebody, you don't want them to, it might make you feel like it's a personal attack if you don't accept it, and try it, just try a little bit, it's okay, it has a little bit
Maybe
of
for
what you
you.
don't eat, just a little bit. And I'm like, you know nothing against you, but I know that I'm gonna feel gross, like,
Yeah.
ugh, after I eat it. But I appreciate it. Something I do like to do, like if somebody offers me like a chocolate cupcake or something. It's weird. It's weird, but I just smell it. I like to smell the chocolate because I feel like I get that, like, is it dopamine hit?
Yeah.
Just smelling the chocolate.
Christmas
Ah,
smell.
this is great. And then I'll go home and I'll make my own little chocolate something or other out of, dates and cacao, or like even sweet potatoes. There's so many different hacks that you can make if you don't eat sugar. And once your taste buds neuroadapt, like you can make, yeah, I've made these really good cupcakes out of chickpeas and potatoes and cherries, and I think maybe a little bit of dates and other things. Dad makes chocolate cupcakes that have zucchini in them, and you wouldn't even
Yeah.
know, or beets, you wouldn't even know, and you're like packing in those nutrients. Because, oh, the term nutritarian, do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, sure. For me, I discovered this lifestyle when I was going through some channels on TV, and I landed on PBS, and Dr. Joel Furman was there, and he coined the phrase called nutritarian, because he said you could be a vegan, you could be a vegetarian, but he said a nutritarian is different from a vegetarian or a vegan, because every bite you take, you're considering, what is this food going to do? Is it going to make me heal me, or could it possibly harm me? And
Mm,
so nutritarian, like if you had uh, a Twizzler, that would be vegan. That's a candy. But that's not considered on the nutritarian lifestyle, because even though it doesn't have animal products in it, it's not health promoting.
right.
And things like that. And that's where he coined that word nutritarian. So I wanted to, Sharon had asked, is honey considered sugar free? Right. So you'll, with this lifestyle, there's a lot of people that promote it and talk about it. And for the most part, they're, 95, 99% in agreement with what they consider health promoting and not. But
Mhm.
I follow basically Dr. Joe Furman, although I still take into consideration what other people and other experts talk about. And Dr. Furman would say that honey, it's not necessarily just sugar, that you want to avoid insulin spikes. So
Mm,
when you eat honey, it makes a spike in your insulin, and you don't want to have that, because that can be detrimental to your health. Because there's because we talked about IGF before when we were eating the animal products, and that the IGF-1, then the things that are like honey, insulin growth factor. It can raise that. So when we sweeten things, we use dried fruits. So mostly dates, sometimes raisins. You could use dried apricots, whatever kind of dried fruit you can find. But even so, we shouldn't have a lot of that either, because that can spike some insulin. But honey, as nutritarians that we just defined, we do not include that in our diet. So,
Yeah.
and Carrie said, honey isn't plant-based, don't eat it. It's right, it's not vegan. So she said, be kind, be green, be vegan. So
Cute,
she's got her
cute.
own tagline.
Yeah, there's a lot of levels to starting the plant-based
Yes,
journey.
yes.
And as you go deeper, like, anyway.
Yeah, I think that that's true. I think that you shouldn't get caught up in the minutia. So
Right.
if having honey is getting you away from having a processed candy bar, I think
Yeah.
that's better. So I think good, better, best.
Yeah.
And the more you do this, like Jess said, you start to become curious. And then if you're like me, you start reading books and you listen to podcasts, and then you say, wow, I didn't know that. I think I need to make some adjustments. And then you make adjustments or you don't. But
Mhm.
but if you're doing something, it's better than not doing anything. But if you really want results, then you really have to do this as close to 100% as you can, because
And you'll feel so good. And
oh
you'll feel so accomplished. And you'll feel so healthy.
hmm
So energetic.
yeah, because we were talking about crossing we earlier. If you didn't listen, if you weren't here, we were talking about that we had an agreement that if I could finally get to where I could cross my legs without and stand up without any hands or assistance, that Jessica would give up dairy. And I did finally get to that point. So I'm supposed to decline with age,
Mm.
right? I'm not supposed to get stronger, you know. And now I can still do that, but I can do a lot more
Oh my
things.
gosh, you should see her. You should see her, like, have you heard of the thing? There's a workout called Insanity. It's amazing. Like, she's does these push-ups, she's jumping on trampolines, and you think that when you age, you're supposed to decline, like you said, and
hmm
that's not the case. And a lot of it has to do with the food that you eat.
Yeah. And a lot of you're my daughter, so you're a lot younger than me, but even you have noticed that friends that are your age are starting to feel the effects of the standard American diet, and
Yeah,
some of them may have GERD, indigestion, right, or constipation or things, and so they're starting to take a lot of over the counter medications.
yeah.
And then maybe some of them are starting to go on prescription medications because some of them might be getting diabetes or blood
And
pressure.
even mental health with depression or anxiety. Yeah, I do notice that.
Yeah,
And it
because
hurts my heart.
oh, it really does.
And I know it's not necessary. It
Yeah.
doesn't have to be this way.
And they have a saying, nothing tastes as good as healthy feels. And so until you get to that point, and it's just but it takes a little bit to be able to not indulge in those foods that you're used to for so
Mhm,
many years. You're used to doing
mhm.
it, but once you do it, you're going to notice a big difference. And we always talk about how this lifestyle is so effective that if you are on any hypertension medication, or any glucose lowering medication, and maybe even thyroid medication. There's a lot of prescription medications that you need to tell your doctor what you're doing,
Yeah,
because within a week your body could change and need less of a dosage. So, but you would want your doctor to titrate you off. And there have been people that were on prescription medications for anxiety or depression and things like that, that they noticed that they were feeling better in those respects, and that they were able to, with their doctor's guidance, to titrate down and sometimes even eliminate these things. So because
it's
there's just so
a
yeah.
whole world inside of your body. It's a
Yeah.
whole world, and things are affected by, like, it's called your gut microbiome, right?
Mm,
It affects everything inside of you.
yeah.
That's amazing.
Tell us, Green Warriors, are you a whole food plant exclusive, plant based? Are you on this lifestyle now, or are you just curious about it? If you are doing it now, when did you start? And or if you're just curious, let us know. I would like to know what that is out there, what you're
What
thinking
you
about.
doing?
Yeah, I asked you to pull up these pictures, so I was hoping maybe you could share a few more pictures so that you could
Okay.
inspire people, especially people your age, because probably if you didn't adopt this lifestyle, then you would be feeling the effects of the standard American diet too. So here she is. Tell us about that.
Uh, oh, that was skydiving in Brazil. That was pretty fun. I like to travel a lot. Oh, it's weird talking about myself, but I find joy. I find joy.
Yes, and
What's this one? Oh, that's my underwater. I put my GoPro on a ladder in the pool,
so
and
you're
I do
underwater there.
swimming. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else? Oh, that's me traveling.
Yep. So you can do this traveling.
Oh, that's a good thing that I found. It was the Lasable. I took the granola bar part off of it though.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, those are potatoes I make in the morning. I love variety of different kinds of potatoes. That's some acai bowls that I made with my friend. Yeah. Oh, is that it? Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Anything
So
else? I got other videos if you want to see.
yeah, show us one of your videos.
Okay. Oh, this was acro yoga.
So that's
Pretty
Jessica.
fun.
She's in the middle there. No, look, no hands, no arms, and that's how strong she is. And that's how after a decade of being on a plant exclusive diet, and she's getting plenty of protein. And even though she's older now than she was when she began the lifestyle, she's stronger and fit, and so you don't have to worry about that. As far as so that's a game changer for you.
Oh,
Yeah,
beautiful
so we've
people. And it's
there's
so nice having you there to chat with about it. So it's good to have an accountability partner or a friend or even like a community on Facebook that you can chat with and learn from. Wow, there's so many things like I wanna talk about. I think
uh-huh.
we should come back another time and
Yeah,
talk
maybe
about
we should.
maybe some
Yeah.
gadgets or maybe we can even focus on just dairy once or
Yeah.
recipes or yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that, well, what do you think, Green Warriors? What would you like for us to talk about if it just comes back? We can think of a topic that we might discuss, and you can help us think of a topic that she might discuss. Yeah. So I'm just looking to see if we have any more questions. And okay, I have.
Any more true or false? I
Oh, you
like
wanna do true I think
yeah,
I think we did
yeah.
the true or false because some of them we wound up answering even though we didn't ask them because it was just, so I think, here's, Stacy said, "What advice would you give to someone just starting out on their plant-based journey?"
Mhm. I would start with the community. I would also find something that has substitutions. So take some of the meals that you already know and add a substitution instead. So instead of meat, add lentils or mushrooms or beans or something like that. Another thing that I heard you can say you just add to it. You don't have to think about taking it away, but if you want to add a smoothie in the morning, kale and blueberries and other different fruits. I add flax and chia seeds into mine. I like pineapple and ginger and turmeric for inflammation and black pepper. I'm just saying everything that I put in my smoothie. But and I also another tip I find that if you freeze kale, it doesn't have as much as the kale taste. So I would make a smoothie in the morning and that's what I would start with. And then another fun thing to eat are burritos or burrito bowls um, and then different fruits for desserts. Yeah, and
Yeah.
I would just really really care for yourself. Like, know why you're doing it, and just give yourself grace, of course, if you mess up or anything like that.
Yeah,
What do you
I like
think?
that. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think I agree, definitely. Felicia said, "Thank you, ladies. How to substitute dairy." Wow. Well, we talked about that all throughout the
yeah,
broadcast, how we were talking about how we love dairy. And maybe you can say, Felicia, if you can say, is there any specific form of dairy that you're talking about? Because
yeah.
dairy could be milk, it could be yogurt, it could be ice cream, and it could be cheese. So is there one specific? Because, well, let's start with the easiest one, right? Milk, right? You can
Yeah,
have milk.
yeah. So many easy kinds of milk substitutes that you can have.
Yeah, you can
Like
have milk. You can have almond milk. You can have soy milk. You can have all kinds of
oat
different.
milk. You
Yeah,
can even make your own.
yeah,
Yeah, that's good.
yeah. So that's a dairy that we definitely can substitute right there,
Oh
right?
yeah,
That's so. I don't know if she had
yeah.
any other.
I think she was probably talking about like a podcast idea. So I think you're
Yeah,
right. That
yeah.
would be good.
Okay, that would be good. How to substitute dairy? We could let's keep that in mind.
Yeah, the
Okay.
cheese part, that was the
Uh,
toughest for me. That was the
wasn't
toughest.
that so? Yeah, it was tough
But
for
once
me
I did
too.
it, I felt so much better.
Yeah, yeah.
After you get over that addiction, now I don't even crave it anymore, which is so weird
Hmm.
to think
Yeah,
about.
it is, and that's the thing. After being on this lifestyle for so long, that I think that now when I go in a grocery store and I see people putting things in their carts that I used to put in my cart, it looks so bizarre to me, you
It's
know.
bizarre.
So yeah,
Bizarre. It's bizarre.
yeah. Wow, I can't believe how the time just flew by. You know,
Oh,
it's just been
we've
so
always talked
great.
about doing this.
Yeah,
Like,
we
every time we
finally
talk,
did.
like, somebody just put it on a podcast.
Yeah, and we're doing it, and it's so great. So did you want to maybe give a final take home message for our Green Warriors today?
Hmm. Subscribe to Be Green with Amy for more tips and tricks. Because we love to build this community. We want to build it even bigger. We want to hang out with you guys and see how you're doing. That would be my takeaway. Oh, and you know what I wish I did when I started? I wish I journaled about my experiences. And I also find that journaling in the morning is a nice way to clear my head anyway.
Mm,
So if I could just remember how I felt at the beginning and kind of go through that journey and be my own good friend throughout, I think that's a good way to do it.
yeah, that's great. I like that idea. That is so important. Well, I really want to give a huge thank you to you, Jessica, for sharing all your experiences and your knowledge and just your lovely disposition and light that I think we all kind of got a little charge out of you. I know I always do when I So, Green Warrior, tell us, what are you going to remember from our chat today? Is there something that you heard that maybe you didn't know before? I know for me, I can't say that I'm going to have something that was an aha for me, because we have these talks all the time. So I don't even know if I heard anything that we hadn't talked about so many times before. But I hope that you have a takeaway and type that in the comments, because then people who are coming back later after the broadcast is over, they can see what we talked about. So I really want to thank you. And now I get to thank you in person, right? I get to thank you for doing the promos and the voiceovers and the thumbnails and all the graphics and just all the promoting, that it takes so much effort. And you do this for every broadcast, and it is just so helpful, because that's what I depend on to get the word out. And it's at this point in the broadcast that I thank you, even though you're not here, but now I'm thanking you in person. And then I say, just test voice, who's coming up next?
Do you let fear dominate your thinking? Have you wondered how to break free from the grip of self-doubt? Join Esther Loveridge as she shares her inspiring journey of conquering fear and transforming her mindset through a whole food plant-based lifestyle. Wednesday, February 19th, 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific, on Be Green with Amy Live.
Love the music. Well, most of all, I want to thank you, Green Warrior, for joining us today, because your engagement and your support make these discussions meaningful and impactful. And I really hope that you're feeling inspired to take a closer look at your food choices and make some positive changes for your health and well-being. Because remember, every bite we take is an opportunity to nourish our bodies and, like Jessica, become the healthiest versions of ourselves. So please stay tuned for more empowering content. Please subscribe to my channel, and please keep sharing what Jess is doing as far as all these voiceovers that she puts on social media. You can share when she says who's coming up next. Share it with people so that you can spread her light throughout the world. Because together as Green Warriors, we really can make a meaningful difference in the world. And as a special thank you to all of you, I wanted to offer you 5 free recipes. Isn't that so pretty? Jess made this for me too. She made the little sparkle in the middle, because if you go to begreenwithamy.com/join, I'll send you 5 free.
I know.
That's a funny inside joke for broadcasters. And please, I wanted to also invite you, and of course, I'm inviting my daughter Jess, to take your right hand and grab your left shoulder, and take your left hand and grab your right shoulder. Now that's a hug from me to you, Green Warrior, and from me to you, Jess. And this is something, here's another graphic that Jess made for me. And this is my tagline. And I would love for you to join us, because we're going to say it and you can type it in the chat. Are you ready, Jess?
I'm ready.
Okay. Well, until I see all of you again, remember, be strong, be well, and be green. Kisses to you, Jess. Thank you, Green Warriors. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. It's been so nice to have you all meet my daughter. So proud of her. Bye, everyone.
Now you can get 5 free whole food plant-based SOS-free recipes from Be Green with Amy. Just click on the link in the show notes and Amy will send you 5 free recipes, motivational quotes, and more so you can be strong, be well, and be green.